there's protests that are going on at Howard University, and it's not getting the kind of national coverage that it needs to get. We've been having a lot of fun this morning, but there's some serious stuff that we got to tackle. Rebecca Azor, I yield the floor.
Okay, so as we know, over at Howard, there are protests going on. They're underway from the kids who are protesting the terrible living conditions on campus. Many kids have taken to the school campus's main area and have protested the mold, protested the unbreathable air filters, a lot of things that are broken and haven't been fixed. A lot of people are questioning where the money has gone from the university. If there is so much money being poured into the schools, why aren't those funds being used to redo the dorms or redo the apartments on campus? So I know that I sent in, I don't know if we have that. Do we have the...
We have a different one because we can't use the local coverage, but we do have a SOT.
Okay, perfect. Let's take a look, listen to what these students had to say.
Student protests at Howard University. They've been camped out at the school's Blackburn Center, and they say that they will stay there until all of their demands are met. They're asking for better housing for incoming freshmen, an in-person town hall meeting with Howard University's president, and the reinstatement of students, faculty, and alumni as voting members of the school's Board of Trustees.
We demand change. We demand humane living conditions.
There have been a lot of reports of mold in dorms. We're not quite sure if it's black mold or if it's just regular mold, but regardless, it's disgusting and frustrating. I remember hearing about a girl who had mushrooms growing in her shower. I know about kids who have had to start taking like army sort of showers because when they shower, it gets so bad that they start to struggle to be able to breathe. In one of our dorms, there was flooding, and it took them about 4 hours to get to kids, to get them relocated. All of their stuff was destroyed. Everything that they bought, their entire room was like flooded and full of water. In one of the boys' dorms, there are bugs in the showers. Gnats and roaches. There's rats in our cafeterias where people are eating on a daily basis. And that's just the stuff that we can see where we're eating. We have no clue what's happening behind the counter. We tried to do everything by protocol. We emailed everybody that we were supposed to be emailing, and we called everybody we were supposed to be calling, and nobody ever tried to help us in a way that really mattered.
I think a lot of people are surprised that there are reports of this happening at Howard. I mean, it's one of the most high-profile HBCUs. It's also ranked among one of the wealthiest black colleges.
We're not the first people to be dealing with this. They had protests for this in '88. They had protests for this in 2018.
Did she say 88?
She said 1988 and then 2018. So just to, first of all, the BNC anchor is, she fine. She beautiful. And poor kids, the poor
girl.
Kids are to go through this. I know that at my university, Florida A&M, and I got to be honest, I thought when we first moved there, my dorm room, and I represented my dorm room for the university, and had to talk about a lot of our living conditions as well, because what they're talking about is not uncommon at some of these universities, and you'll see. But now I can say when you go there, now the dorms are upscale now because I guess they used the money to rebuild. But there were dorms that were shut down for so long, unutilized space, and the ones that were up and running looked like the ones that were vacant. It was so I do, and I love to see that these kids are speaking up about it. But here's an update. So last week, this is when the protest started, but the Board of Trustees had responded this weekend saying that all they said was, simply put, we hear you and we continue to welcome your viewpoints on all matters pertaining to Howard. The release went on to state that the board supports and encourages the administration's open and constructive dialogue with students, saying the goal is to cultivate spaces for us to listen and discuss prominent prominent issues on students' minds. And they also touched on, a few more of the housing concerns, saying the university has always guaranteed housing for freshmen and sophomores. Currently, 94% of first-year and second-year students are living in Howard University residences. This fall, Howard secured and provided additional housing for 700 students, a 15% increase in the total number of beds available to students compared to 2019-2020 academic year. We recognize that despite our efforts, there are those in our community who have struggled to find housing opportunities. What does it have to do with living conditions? I couldn't tell you, because even if there was an influx of students, which caused them to have more beds, more bodies than beds, the living conditions in those buildings should not be that way. Do y'all remember having to take a shower with shower shoes at the university and literally bugs crawling all in the damn shower?
No, I don't remember that part. I'm sorry,
because being you stayed in the good dorm. Trust me, I was in like the general population. That's what it looked like in prison at Bronson Hall, because it was communal showers where it was like you walk in, you got 3 stalls on the back side and then 2 showers in front of those stalls with no shower curtain. Bugs, roaches, everything, mold, all of it. Everything for a private university that you would think would take care of their school and everything, but no. And it sucks because this happens at a lot of HBCUs. I ain't gonna say a lot of them, but Howard, I would really think that Howard would be one that Howard is a prestigious HBCU, and you would really think that it would be set up perfect for these students. But it just goes to show you, as a HBCU, is just these funds just don't never go to where it needs to go to.
That's right. You think about Howard. They have the Chadwick Boseman. They just opened up the Chadwick Boseman Performing Arts, right? They just hired Nicole Hannah-Jones from the 1619 Project over at the New York Times, and Claire Huxtable, Felicia Rashad. Isn't Felicia Rashad like a dean over there? I don't think
she is.
Roaches and black mold.
So
that's a lot.
Some people might not like me for saying this, but this is an example of black people being black people. So like y'all talk about the money not going where it's supposed to, right? The HBCUs, like I worked at Hampton for a long time. I've been to a lot of the HBCUs, so I know that a lot of times it's more about putting on the facade that, hey, look at what we doing. Look at all these nice, beautiful buildings. But in the background, you got students living like this all over the place. Yep. And I mean, it's I
wonder how many PWIs are like
how we do things. It's more about the show and putting on the front sometimes than actually taking care of the underlying issues.
So I'll say this, the money that goes into the schools, I don't know how that works, but I know there's some sketchiness. It's always sketchiness when it comes to the money in the schools, and we see the money in corporations and the money all the time. I don't really think it's like it is. I wouldn't say it's black people being black people, right? Because I'll say that I don't know where the money goes when it comes to Howard University. My school gets a lot of money. My school is the prestigious school, Florida A&M University. But, we have all of these HBCUs. It's sad because I feel like they are so used to functioning as if they never had money. And, as if they didn't, like this is back in the day. So I feel like when they didn't, especially with being controlled by, I'm pretty sure a lot of our universities that we see at, on the main level, and that even includes mine, there's some control from the community or from the white community or whatever the case may be. I know for Florida A&M, anything that goes on, of course, we make sure that it's FAMU and FAMU's only, but a lot of control about things that we do in Tallahassee is controlled by the leadership in Tallahassee. The state government. Absolutely. Yeah. So I do.
Which made me ask that question. No,
we had
ask that question, Rebecca. I don't mean to cut you off, but like, as you experienced that at FAMU, did you see that over at at Florida State. Did you hear about it in Florida State? Like, I want to know, like, how many white schools go through this?
At FSU, if they complained about anything, it would be rebuilt. If you go to their library, rebuilt in 2 seconds, all of that stuff. We had things because people, I remember Magic Johnson donated our orange room to us, which was like an upscale calf. We had 2 of them, and it provided an area for us to just come and chill and be like in a better environment instead of just always being in the calf. It just provided a better space for us to eat luxury food instead of, because FAMU's food is always luxury, to be honest. But, you know, if you wanted to do outside of the meals that were being cooked and stuff, and it was just like a nice hangout spot for everybody. But it was something that when FAMU is presented on television, that's what made it more marketable. We had these empty buildings, like I said, that are sitting there, and the FAMU kept pushing. I mean, I remember one time to get the buildings redone after a lot of us fought for it, talked about it, you know, at the town hall meetings, all kinds of stuff, and it would not get approved. Like those kind of things, it just wouldn't get approved. And we had to learn that going to the meetings I had to cover as a young journo, going to the Board of Trustee meetings and stuff, because students had questions, just like these Howard University students. But I think now, when it comes to living situations and a lot of the money that's being spent, and I get it, I feel like they're trying to keep up with, okay, the money's coming in, and the people that are sending the money, they want us to do this with the money when we know we need this with the money, and we got to keep the stature up of the school when people come to the school so that we have somewhere to bring them, or, you know, and they can see. But students first. I think that's what I think that's students first. I know we're trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to keep the school in the news on top, you know, trying to keep the school getting funds in. But I think this should be and because we're in a viral era and these kids ain't playing, I think this should be a lesson to all HBCUs. I don't want anybody who isn't part of the family having this conversation either. Every day we have these conversations. HBCUs are still, you know, to me, the way to go. But we have a lot of work to do, even within our own. HBCUs are, to me, it's a great opportunity, great experience. But we shouldn't. I should have never been living the way.
Black mold ain't no joke. That'll mess up.
I was gonna say that. Ben, I had dust in my dorm room. Not just like a little bit of dust. I'm talking about those things were turning into animals and trying to fight me.
Wait, somebody said they had mushrooms in the clip. They said they had mushrooms growing in their room. Yeah, I'm like,
no,
bro.
And there's a video of it where on the back of a girl's portrait, the amount of mold that
Yeah, that means ventilation is bad. They did say, excuse me, Nick Eden was saying as well too that, you know, some of the PWIs face the same thing as well too. They did release something in a magazine at Harvard. But and that's so much the difference.
Harvard?
Because the difference is these PWIs are going to get all the exposure, and you're going to hear about it on everything, the news, everything. But once it comes to an HBCU, the only thing that you're going to hear about HBCU is somebody that embezzled money, or the school is losing money, or lost their accreditation. That's the only thing you're going to hear about. You're never going to hear anything about students going up doing protests, they being treated unfairly, or any of that. And that really sucks. But you'll hear about the PWI issues all day long.
Yeah, I mean, Bubba, it goes to a couple weeks ago, we was saying the same thing. It's happening everywhere. It's just at the PWIs and the bigger schools, they have better PR, and they're better at, you know, spending things. And also, like Rebecca said, a lot of times when that money is coming in, it's already earmarked to certain stuff. Like somebody will donate, and this is for this grant to do X, Y, and Z, or this trust. So, you know, maybe we got to be better about,
one thing. I do know fundraising. The most difficult time I ever had taking a shower at a university was actually at FAMU. I have to remember I went to band camp there back in '98, and the shower conditions there pretty much left me traumatized, because you're right. I had to go in there with flip-flops, towels. I had to go in there with bleach. It was one of the craziest experiences I've ever been in. So shout out to FAMU, the highest of 70s.
Let me tell you, my experience in the damn dorm room, and Rebecca, I don't know how far yours had to go with this, but when I tell you starting in the dorm room or starting at college, getting used to that, for one, I gotta take a shower in a bathroom that's open to everybody on this damn floor. Yeah. So on this half of the hallway, that's like 6 rooms, each with 4 people. So that's 24 people I'm sharing a bathroom with that only has 3 stalls and 2 showers. No shower curtain. What? So you can't go in there and take no shower when you feel like it. You gotta wait till late night when everybody sleep because you don't want nobody walking in. But it was like dorm law that, okay, if you hear the shower on in the bathroom, you don't come in there yet, because you got to go back there and use the stall. Hope you ain't got to take a dump because then if you taking a shower, you're going to be SOL. And then if you end up taking a dump while you waiting, oh my God, Ben, yes, at Bronson Hall, the freaking pits. So I did everything in my power I could to get the hell up out that door. I'm like, yeah, bro, this not going to work for me.
Hey, I stayed in Bronson Hall only during the summertime. So I do know the bathrooms that you're talking about, but there was nobody there in the summertime. I cannot imagine, man. I'm so glad those days are behind me, man. Sorry to those kids out there who having mushrooms and they have trees. They got entire plants growing. They got a whole botany experiment going on over there.
I'm about to say, at least they farming their own stuff. They'll be good for cultivating some food. No, just playing.
I didn't expect you to say that. Listen, now I will say for all that these kids are doing, I pray that this does more than what it did in '88. It does more than what it did in 2018. We are at the year of the viral times, but now these kids are protesting. I'm talking about they're missing class. They're sleeping outside of the buildings to protest this matter. I mean, you saw Lil Mama still on her little twist, because she's been outside. They've been protesting this, and this is what we are talking about when these. I need for these messages to move forward because I would say they got us back in the day, would be like, they got to suffer like we did. It's just part of the school's culture. I mean, it is what it is. But Rebecca, today's
1988, Lawrence Fishburne was in School Days. They've been fighting. They've been trying to get clean bathrooms at Howard since 1988.
I wasn't even thought of in 1988. And so that's
right. But see,
that's what I'm saying. This ain't.
I was about to say, y'all got to look at it like it probably happens every so many years. They say 88, and then Rebecca, you said 2018. Same thing happened with Cookman. I'm sure it happened with FAMU. It's like it happens that point where these dorms, you build them so many years, and after so much time, they're gonna start getting dilapidated and run down, and they need repairing. But we seen our maintenance department at Cookman. They went about shit, honestly. So they would keep up on nothing. Man,
there was some good people.
Look, Bubba, we ain't got the money to be cussing on here, okay? We ain't got the money to give up for every cuss word. We ain't got it.
But why you go after the maintenance people with cool? Listen, man, I think I must have been living in a parallel universe at Cookman. I must have missed the whole lot.
You was living what we would consider living with the white folks at Bethune-Cookman.
But it'd be like
there was this one Russian chick who was like who got a tennis scholarship. So she was over there at that door with us. But you might be right. Dang. So I was on the gentrified side of a HBCU. How does that even happen?
Bubba, you said something. Well, I wouldn't say gentrified. I would say an elite side. You have the elitist and you have the other side. But Bubba, you said something. I was in what we call TWC. Okay. We had Truth, we had Wheatley, and we had Cropper. Okay. So, and I represented my my dorm, my residential dorm, as Miss Wheatley, 2007 and 2008. Then you had Diamond and McGuinn. You see the names we have?
I had a dorm room named Diamond.
Because my dorm was actually named after Phyllis Wheatley.
Coming up to the stage.
Each one was a black woman, historical black woman. That was the female dorm.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I was Phyllis Wheatley, and then you had Diamond and McGuinn. Diamond and McGuinn girls were at the front of the school. So when they would come and check out the schools, they would be there. We had to pass to the back of Diamond and McGuinn, climb the stairs of Diamond and McGuinn, hit up. Some people had to crawl through. I'm just kidding. Some people had to go down the steps of another building.
I can't stand Rebecca.
And then I had to, and there's a picture I have from my first day at my dorm. And I'm so ratchet because, I'm coming from Palm Beach. So I'm looking real hood in the front. And then I went back there and they shut down the whole, which kind of makes me sad, but they shut down the whole building. They shut down the whole building.
But if it had mushrooms if y'all are growing mushrooms in black mold.
And Truth Hall was actually the underground part of it.
You say the underground?
We have spent quite a bit of time, folks.
You had to
on
go
this
a level down, and they had no windows, and so
Rebecca,
ooh, y'all,
I just need to say,
terrible.
All of the energy that we have spent over the last 9 months, 10 months on this show promoting HBCUs, I think we made a real bad case against them with these mushrooms growing in the back room.
Well, we're showing you that. And I think at that time, my school we were struggling with funding at that time. But the thing is, we were struggling with funding. We had these closed down dorm rooms that were supposed to be reopened so that we can have more bodies for beds, more beds for the bodies, because there was an influx of students that were coming into the school. Yet, like I said, Magic Johnson gave us this orange room. If we were like that money
said,
could have went to the dorms and stuff, but we were having trouble with funding at the time. So I don't think Howard has issues with funding right now. I think they're so used to having issues with funding and having to apply the funds that are being gifted to the school to certain things. And I think they're so used to that, so they still walk in that system. But you do not have to walk in that system anymore. Take care of your students. We already got to go there for the first year with no car. Take care of your students.
Right.
Okay.
So here's the thing though. So until like these protests and making people aware is great and all, but until we start to affect their pockets the same way we talk about with anything else, at the other places things are getting done because you got people that's going to complain and the right people are going to hear it and hold their money back, or like, hey, look, this $2 million I was supposed to give y'all this year, you're not getting until this gets done. We're not doing that. They already once we at the HBCUs, it's great and all, but they getting the money from they already getting your tuition money, and people are still coming next year, and people are still coming the year after that with everything going on. So until we start affecting their pockets, certain things
where are we gonna go if we like we're gonna boycott?
But that's the thing. I'm not saying boycott. No, I'm not saying boycott. I'm saying I don't know how you fix it, because the right people have to be paying attention and start, because there are influential people, black people, giving money to these HBCUs.
Yeah.
And this stuff is still going on. So until we start to reach those people that will affect their pockets, it's going to be more of the same.
So
and what it's going to come from is the alumni association. Once you get the alumni involved and you get in the alumni ear, I know so a good base of that donation is alumni.
Many of the alumni now who have come from Howard have actually stood in solidarity, and these are celebrity alumni, have stood in solidarity with the Howard students. This is why this news of the unlivable conditions have been pushed to the top. Like, I've never seen any news like this when it comes to HBCU living conditions. That's right. Be even heard. So a lot of the people who represent, a lot of people saying, I love HU forever, but I stand with these kids. We have to get them better living conditions. Unfortunately, in our time, we really just lived with it. We went around it. We did what we had to do with it, and we graduated, right?
We know better.
So, we thought that this was part of it. We thought that this was because we went to an HBCU, and the conversations that were had were because of funding at the time. But I think now, now we can hold the schools accountable, because we can hold them, we can put their information, we can put them on blast where they can't send us a statement that says, well, I know you have these unlivable conditions, but look what Howard's doing. We got so many kids coming in.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Right. They can't do that to us. So
interesting.
I like that a lot of people, a lot of the Howard University alumni, celebrity alumni, including Taraji, including Lance Gross, have spoken up for the school. Even some rappers have spoken up for the children at the school. And that's why I think this is going to be bigger. And then the other schools are going to have to get in line. They're going to have to get it together because
kids out here had to get a whole lot more than a COVID shot. They had to get a tetanus shot. They having to get rabies shots. They had to get everything. They get all kind of stuff at these schools, bro. That's solidarity with all of them over there.